Testing. Can you guys hear me okay? You're all set to use this one?
Okay.
I'm just gonna
Thanks. And I knew that we'd had some people up there, but that was more crowded than I thought up there. I was talking to Dr. Yeah, she said it's they just. Yeah, I went to the station, grabbed more. I just Hello. Yeah. We will begin in 2 minutes. Thank you. That sounded very official. Start. Is that okay? We're gonna get rolling here, so be respectful of everyone's time. My name's Mark Glenn. I'm the chief of police here at Washington University. I've been the chief for about 5 years, and I've been at the university for about 20 years. This is Jeff Himstead, our crime prevention special programs officer. And we kind of wanted to get a presentation together and an opportunity to talk to parents and students, specifically first-year students and their parents, to answer any questions. So we both have a couple of brief comments to run through a few things, but really what we want to do is open it up for questions. What we've just come to realize is that for every question that one parent has, most of them really have that. Like I said, I've been here 20 years at the university. I get asked a lot of questions from my friends and people I know about how to handle taking your child to college and dropping them off. And I always liken it to putting them on that bus when they go to school for the first time they get in a car and drive off and watch them. It was kind of that helpless feeling for me. I cried
I have 3 daughters. I cried every time I dropped one of my daughters off every year and drove home. It was really emotional. It was more emotional the time I had to go pick them up and bring them back for summer, right? That was even worse for me because you kind of get used to them not being there, and it takes a little adjustment. Leaving your child at a university takes some adjustment, but that's what we're here for. We work very closely with campus partners to help your children learn how to be safe, how to take care of themselves in an urban environment, and how to use resources and not be scared to ask. So really, that's our goal. I'd talk a little bit about our department so you have a feeling for that, and then I'll turn it over to Jeff, and Jeff will go through a few things. We are actually a mid-sized police department in the St. Louis area. We have 66 employees at the University Police Department, 47 officers. So that's actually a really decent sized police department. And there's a reason we have so many officers, is because we cover both on-campus patrol and off-campus patrols. So we provide supplementary patrols in our off-campus neighborhoods where many of our students live, and with our satellite campuses around. So we have a 20-hour presence off campus, and then we have a core group of officers that work on campus 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We have our own dispatch center, so that when you call the police department, 935-5555, fistful of fives we call it, you get a university employee, a Washu police dispatcher, that not only knows how to dispatch police to help, but also what other resources are available, whether it's the RCD on call, the mental health line, other resources that we have readily available to use to help our community. And that dispatcher is at first line to get that. So just know that as soon as that phone rings, it starts with us trying to get people the help that they need. A little bit more about the police department. We kind of break it up between operational support and patrol, but we are heavily patrol staffed, which means that we put as many police officers out on patrol as we can. But with our support, we need to make sure that our officers have what they need when they're out there, as well as kind of coordinate the back end resources. I happen to be part of the support as the chief. I don't patrol very frequently. I'm in the back. But I partner with several groups on campus, from Washu Cares, which is a student care organization that really looks out for students when they're having issues or crisis, and it's across the university. So it's really brings a group of administrators together to kind of chart out a way for students to succeed if they're having issues. We work with the academic teams in each school that if they're having issues or someone needs help, they get a hold of us, and vice versa. If we see something, we get back to them. HABIF, both the doctor side and the mental health side, we work really closely with when students have issues, need that. We are on the South 40. I'm sure many of you saw us in Lean Hall in the bottom. We're right across from Residential Life. So it is not far for us to run back and forth, and we're constantly working back and forth for the well-being of students. And then student affairs as a whole. And with student affairs, Rob Wild, the Dean of Students, has come, and he'll be available to answer any questions with us as we go. But as you see, it's a partnership. And that's how we know that we to take care of students. And then the last thing I want to cover is a little bit about what's important for us as the police department that really you should know about. And it really starts with our core values. We identify 4 core values: integrity, and that's being honest, right? Even when it's difficult. And a lot of that is sometimes dealing with parents and dealing with students and being honest with the interactions that we have with them, both good and bad. Community collaboration, and we talk about all those groups we work with. That's a hallmark of the Washington University Police Department. Accountability, that when something happens, we hold our team accountable. If we practice a customer service style policing, we believe in really going the extra mile to help our community. And if we're not living up to that, we're accountable, not only to ourselves within the police department, but to our community and our students, to make sure that they know that. We are proactive. You'll see us out in the community. We go to events. We were passing out ice cream last night. We had 4 officers at our table to answer questions. We enjoy doing this. This is the best part of our job. And we also, core value is education. And for us, that's us being educated. So our police officers go through substantial training every year, and it's also educating our community. And it's us being teachers. And if it's one thing that every one of our team members at WPD does, is they have the ability to really teach life skills. Because that's what's important besides what you learn in the classroom, is when you leave to be able to take care of yourself. With that education, we have prioritized mental health. All of our officers are crisis intervention trained, basic, most of which is a 40-hour lesson taught to us by mental health providers. Most of us have some type of advanced crisis intervention training, whether it's veteran, adolescents, crisis situations, to take us to the next step. We prioritize mental health because we see mental health issues manifest at this age when they're here. So we want to be able, if we're starting to see some of those issues, that we're working with HBIF and we're working with student affairs to make sure the students get the resources that they need. And again, it's that ability to kind of work together that helps us do that. So I'm going to turn it over to Jeff. He's going to cover some of the crime prevention programs, and then we're going to open it up for questions.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief. First of all, welcome to the university. We want you guys to have a great time here for 4 years, or in some cases longer, and we want you to be safe. Just like the Chief said, we're here 24/7 every day. 2 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Eve, we're here, and we're here for you. We're off campus also. We have officers assigned off campus. We patrol the neighborhoods south of the Loop, north of the Loop, and the St. Louis City side. That's a picture of the world famous Blueberry Hill there on the Loop. The Loop is a great place. We're just like the police department in your hometown. We have officers, supervisors, detectives, officers trained in crime scene, records clerk, dispatchers, and we're all post-certified. We're all licensed by the state of Missouri. We can pick up and work in any police department in the state of Missouri. The campus is relatively safe, and most of the crimes that happen on campus are crimes of opportunity. Someone leaves a laptop unattended or something. Sometimes it gets up and walks away. A lot of times it turns out that it's just found in our lost and found later. That's where a lot of misplaced items end up. And that's what our lost and found is one of the more used items at our police department, and that's on our website. You know, the crime prevention tips we give are a lot of the same tips we would give any other location in the country. You know, don't leave your valuables unattended. Don't prop your dorms. Don't prop your doors in your residence hall. Don't lend your ID card out. If you lose your ID card, let us know. We could cancel it. We can't give you a new one, but we could cancel it so no one else could pick it up and use it. And don't let people tailgate behind you. Just like the Chief said, our phone number is the fistful of fives, 935-5555. And that's how you can contact the police. Or if you're not familiar with EST, you soon will be. That's also how you get hold of EST. It's our student medical group that goes to routine medical emergencies on campus. And our dispatchers, they have protocols of when they'll dispatch EST and or the ambulance. If you don't know where we're at, we're in the South 40 on the lower level of Lean Residence Hall on the north side of Shepley, almost at the clock tower. Feel free to stop by and get a whistle. Bear Patrol is a student group. They're actually student employees of the police department to provide walking escorts anywhere on campus from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. And you can always call us if you're in a situation where you feel that you need an escort. I felt I'd better bring up alcohol because you're brand new to college, and some of you have, you know, some of the students already have experience in alcohol and some do not. Just be careful. Chief and I have been police officers in the Metro St. Louis area for decades, and we've seen a lot of human tragedy, and a lot of it started with a night full of this. Okay, don't let anybody talk you into, you know, if you're not used to drinking alcohol, don't let anybody talk you into drinking. Okay, if you want to do it on your terms. All right, I don't recommend it. The legal drinking age in Missouri is 21, But, you know, can you think of anything to add about that, Chief? Let me talk about medical amnesty for a moment. If you see somebody that needs medical attention, we want you to call for help. Nobody's going to get in trouble relative to alcohol or drugs for calling on somebody that needs medical attention because of medical or drug use, or because of alcohol or drug use. And at the Washington University Police Department, how we usually handle these situations, when we're dealing with alcohol violations on campus, we generally just ask for cooperation. But in situations where we're not getting cooperation, we're going to start putting pen to paper and documenting it. And that's where something may go to the dean of students. And if you need help with alcohol, the university has resources for you. St. Louis is a beautiful city. I've lived here my whole life. We want you to see and explore St. Louis, but we want you to use the same common sense safety tips you use in your own hometown. Have a plan, kind of know where you're going. If it's possible, go with friends and have a plan to get back. And keep in mind, St. Louis is bigger than a lot of people think. There's about 2 million people in the metro area. And that's something that's a little different about St. Louis compared to other jurisdictions. There's about 90 different jurisdictions inside St. Louis County. And it's unusual compared to other metro areas in the country. Check out parking and transportation for bike registration, and check out the shuttle routes. They've really added a lot of shuttle routes in the last 2 years. So if you want to explore the neighborhoods off campus, there's a lot of options. We sell bike locks at the police department for $25. Bike theft is a problem at campuses all across the country, and most bike thieves target the less expensive cable locks. What they do is they come onto campus with a backpack. They take a pair of bolt cutters out of the backpack and cut the lock. If you were to buy this lock anywhere else, it'd probably be about $40 or $50. You could come to our dispatch window 24/7 and buy it for $25. They just deduct a fee from your student account. To my knowledge, there's never been a bike stolen on campus with one of those locks on it. We also sell computer stop tags. It's a registration system. And if you go on our website, you can make an appointment with me to put it on your computer. It only takes a few minutes and it's $10. And we also deduct that from your student account also. We have a lot of cameras on and off campus and about 400 blue lights in and around campus. It just shows the commitment and investment we've made to making this as safe as we can possibly be. Oh, yes. Blue light, you've probably seen them around. What a blue light is, if you see a blue light, you can walk up and hit that button and it will call the police department, okay? Now, I don't think I've ever been to any serious situation from a blue light call. It's usually somebody, where am I? I'm lost. But it's there, and they're all over. And if you just go around, you've seen them on and off campus. In fact, if you're ever in a weird situation and you think somebody's following you, if you just hit a blue light and keep walking and hit another one and hit another, pretty soon you're going to be surrounded by 3 or 4 cops. Hey, what's the problem? If you go on our website, you'll see some information about self-defense classes. If you ever want a chance to punch at a cop, here's your chance. A lot of people sign up with groups, and sometimes people that live on the same floor, or sometimes there may be employees of the university that all work together. They sign up too. I've never heard a bad thing about it. Everybody that goes seems to really enjoy it. This is our relatively new Warship Safety App. And you can download it for free at the App Store or Google Play. And there's all types of features on there. You can mobile blue light, campus maps, weather, emergency alerts and notifications. They have a feature called Friend Walk, where you can tell a friend that you're going out for a walk or wherever, and your friend can follow you from point A to point B. Now, this is a question that parents always have. How do I get notified if there's an emergency on campus? Students are already enrolled. The key is they have to keep their information updated in SIS, and they'll automatically get emergency alerts and crime alerts, right? If you get an alert, assume it's the real thing. We've never done some drill on campus and we never will. All right, parents, if you want to receive an emergency alert, download that app and you'll receive the same alerts that your students get. And please do not call dispatch if we ever have a true emergency here, unless you have some pertinent information to give. Our emergency management will get information out as quickly as we can. And I invite you all to check out our website, police.wustl.edu. We have all types of stuff on there, lost and found, crime logs, safety tips, and more.
Open this up to you for questions. So if you have a question, you raise your hand and we'll try and repeat it so everyone can hear it. Yes. Yes. It was alarming for me too. It was. So I'll go into the incident a little bit and explain it, and then we can go into the mechanics of the app. So early in the summer, we had someone call our police department and report that they believe someone had a gun and was walking onto campus. We take those threats serious, right? While we didn't have any corroborating information, we always err on the side of caution, and we immediately locked down campus and sent out an alert to everyone that was the entire community. The police department quickly mobilized with our neighboring police agencies. We were able to quickly locate the person that the caller talked to and determine quickly that there was no weapon. The person did not have a weapon. It was a misunderstanding. And then we cleared it. So what we do when we have those emergencies like that is about every 5-10 minutes, we look to put an update out. So if you get the first one, you should see an update fairly quickly within the first 5 or 10 minutes. And then that's kind of our trigger for continuous updates till we clear it. We did send out 2-3 updates during that time in about 15 minutes, and then cleared it with the information that we determined there was no threat to campus or anyone on campus. So if you're having issues with that and it's not coming across, if you will go to the website and get a hold of emergency.wustl.edu, that's our emergency management department. They kind of monitor and that contract, and we'll work with the vendor to see if there's an issue with that and get that taken care of. Yes. Yep. Yeah, we did get some feedback from and the question was, it didn't have all the information that I just explained. We're working to, we always review these incidents afterwards. And that's one of the things that we mark down for an after action fix, is to make sure there's a little more information in it or direct people where to go get more information. So we fix that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's called the Stop Tag
Jeff,
program.
hold on. The question is how do you register your laptop?
Yeah. If you just go on our website under crime prevention, it shows you how you can schedule an appointment with me to put a stop tag on your computer. About 3 minutes.
And it's only 3 minutes if you don't glue your fingers together.
Yeah.
Right. Right, Jeff?
Yeah. I've spilled the glue on my hand before that's happened. Police.wustl.edu.
Yes, up the top. That is a great question. So the question was, if it's an emergency, should I call 911 or do I call 935-5555 for emergencies and non-emergencies? Here's the problem if you call 911. If you call 911 when you're on campus, It's going to go to the 911 operations center, and it's going to show up 1 Brookings Drive, because that's the university address. So no matter where you're at, it's just going to come in the main mailing address. If you call 935-5555, we will get that information of where you're at, and we'll get the appropriate resources dispatched, whether it's an ambulance, a fire truck, or police. The fire department goes off a code system for our buildings that comes from our dispatchers. So if you call 911, they're going to start, but they don't know exactly where to go. And if you tell them you're in, Lean Hall, which is where the police department is, they have no idea where Lean Hall is. Okay. So if it's an emergency on campus, please call the police department at Fistful of Fives. If you're off campus, call 911. The other thing that you can do is when you go to the Washu Safety App, there's the blue light app. You can just hit that, and that'll call us as well. And we'll actually have kind of a GPS location where you're at to help if you're not familiar with where you're at. So the question is how to get a hold of Bear Patrol and when to use Bear Patrol. Jeff, do you going to answer that?
Bear Patrols, you just called 935-5555. Okay. And it's really what the student feels comfortable with. The campus is relatively safe to walk around, but if for some reason they want an escort, it'll be provided. It's that simple.
Is campus really doesn't stop until 2 a.m. Most nights, right? And what else we see is, the first couple of weeks, students kind of start to develop a pattern of when they go to the library. Well, it doesn't take them long to figure out who's generally walking back at the same time, and they tend to group up. And that's like how a lot of friendships develop, is not only residence hall, but study habits and things like that. And they quickly become creatures of habit with that. So there's generally someone to walk with. But when in doubt, or if they need it, just feel like they want an escort, please call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If Bear Patrol's off, one of our officers will
I've never said no to an escort.
And not that I'm plugging this, but Bear Patrol has a golf cart that was provided by Student Union. They actually bought it. It's covered. So if it's raining, it's much nicer to ride in a cart than walk, right? It's got a big rack in the back, so you can put your book bag or laptop case on there and don't have to carry it. So it's a really nice cart. We're really appreciative of Student Affairs and Student Union to kind of work with us on that. So don't hesitate to use those resources.
It's usually pretty quick. There's always that chance they're doing a couple other escorts,
So the question is how do you give lead time for that? So like Jeff said, no, just call. We purchased a golf cart just for Bear Patrol. Yeah. So that's the one we use.
At the police department and our website.
Actually categorize all of our lost and found. We put it on the website so you can go on and scroll and see what's there. Things that we don't take. One sock. We don't take those anymore, right?
Water bottles, we don't take those anymore.
Yeah, food containers with half-eaten hamburgers. We don't take those anymore, right? But what we do is computers, phones, book bags, textbooks, anything like that. Our evidence custodian is really good on cracking phones, and I'm glad she does it for good and not evil, because she is really good. And many times we've called mom and dad because, you can always find mom and dad on a cell phone, right? Hey, you might want to try and track your child down and tell them to come to the police department, get their phone. So we do that too. So, but if you'll go on, it's all listed out. The question was, do we have officers that are specially trained to deal with sexual assault? And the simple answer, yes, but let me give you a little more to that. So we have a commitment to working with people that report sexual assaults to the police department. And it's really, we're going to go at that person's pace and what they're comfortable with. What we've done is, again, partner with our RSVP office for sexual assault, as well as our Title IX office for like a co-response to help with that. We have, both of our detectives are trained in handling sexual assault cases. We rotate detectives through, so we have many of our officers that have that training as well. And the entire department, every officer has training on that initial interview with someone reporting a sexual crime to kind of ease that transition for that student, for that person. So we, department-wide, yes. If we also have resources throughout the community that we can use. And again, it's really helpful when you have a great student affairs team that has many people specialized in rape and sexual assault and the investigations to help out with. So our priority with that is the person reporting it. It's pretty simple for us. That's what we keep in the back of our mind. We want to make sure that that person feels safe and gets the resources they need first. Yes. Was, do a lot of people use stop tags for computers and electronics?
My email is full right now of requests, and tomorrow morning I'm going to sort it out and schedule times. I think I may just tell them one day of this week or 2 days, hey, let's just make it open stop tag time, come by the office and do it. There's always a big rush at the beginning of a semester.
I'll give you one success story that on stop tags. We had someone, we always have computer theft on campus. I mean, people know if you want to steal electronics, come to a library, a public library, or come to a campus. So we'll get them. They pretty frequently. Most of the time they're unattended. Someone leaves them in the library, like Jeff said, and they just come back and they're not there. We had someone steal a laptop several years ago, and they called. They somehow got a hold of the computer was open. They got the email for the person. They emailed them, hey, if you want your computer back, it's $500, right? They were going to sell it back to them. So the student come to us. We took the message, we answered it, and we set up, kind of a little sting, right? And believe it or not, the guy comes back to campus in his car. We arrest him. We open it up. There's 3 laptops in the back. All 3 of them had stop tags, right? So while we were talking to him, we said, why did you come back? And he goes, well, I couldn't sell them. So I was just trying to get something out of them, right? Because every time he went to pawn shop, there's a 1-800 number on there, and they can call and see who the registered owner is. So it works. It's really effective deterrent. It's a really effective deterrent. Yes, sir. So the question is, how does it protect the computer?
It's a registration system. It's not a GPS tracking device. We enter it into a database, and we keep our own database, and we also email it to the national company that runs the system.
Computers all across the United States, to be honest with you. We'll get a call from the company and they'll say, hey, someone from Boston just recovered this, or a police department in Fresno recovered this in someone's car, and we've gotten them back to the owners. Sometimes 2 years later, but we've gotten them back to them. And Rob Wild can jump in on this one a little bit, but I'll start off. We'll be honest, very few come to the police department to report it. They tend to go to other resources, whether it's Title IX, HABIF Health Services, the RSVP office. And while we have to account for those through our Clery Act, many of them choose not to seek criminal prosecution. And that's their choice. Rob?
Thanks for that question. I don't know where it came from. How are you? So yeah, my name's Rob Wild. I'm the Dean of Students, and I'm not sure about that statistic, but there certainly is a very high prevalence on all college campuses of sexual assault, unfortunately, and that is very common in our country right now. Most of the sexual assaults that are reported, and it's very underreported, are done by acquaintances, people who know where the victim knows the perpetrator. So we do a lot of work on the front end. In fact, all of your students will be going through some training this week done through the Relationship and Sexual Violence Prevention Center to really talk about consent, to talk about alcohol, to talk about all of the things that sometimes become factors when sexual assault happens. And then to clarify what Chief said, and you know, I'm a little biased because I've worked with our police department for many, many years, but they are very, very good at working with college students on all kinds of issues. And if a police department is going to respond to a sexual assault or any kind of need that a student has, I feel very, very comfortable with the men and women in our police department. They also know when to make that referral. And so they will, especially in the situation of sexual assault, will make a referral very quickly to the team of counselors that we have trained here at the Relationship Sexual Violence Prevention Center to make sure students are getting support that they need. But I'm happy to talk offline afterwards if you still have questions.
Any other questions? Yes. The question was, do we have crime statistics for campus? You can go to our website, thepolice.wusel.edu, and we have our reported crime statistics for the past couple years up there. And you can see any trends that have shown up. I will tell you it's a little skewed after COVID because when you don't have anyone on campus and you lock everything down, you don't have much crime, to be honest with you. But you can go back and see that where we've stood in the past several years with. Additionally, there's our crime log on there. So any crime reports through Clery that we take, there's a little explanation to each one. So you can scroll back and see the reports we've taken and a little bit of the details about them. So I just want to clarify. So the crimes that are reported, is it student on student or a visitor? Yeah. It's kind of a mixed bag, to be honest with you. A lot of our theft of unattended property tends to be someone coming onto campus for that. They know where to go. They know that lunchtime at the Duck, that people are going to grab something to eat and they're going to leave their stuff sitting at a table, and they, you know, just kind of, for a lack of a better word, they just troll around till they see something. They'll walk around campus, look for a bike that's not locked up and just pick it up and go. But I think Jeff kind of pointed out most of our theft like that tends to be unsecured property just laying around. So, you know, keeping it locked up, keeping it with you is probably the most important. But when we look at it, and the ones that, and we have a really good clearance rate on our crimes, tends to be someone from off campus coming onto campus. Yes, ma'am. So the question was, are people getting held up for their property? We do, have street crimes. It happens. We're in an urban area. We average on campus less than one a year, right? Where we tend to see it is out in the neighborhoods. It tends to be dark evening hours. It tends to be someone by themselves, maybe a pair, but generally by themselves. They're very quick. They're very dynamic, right? It's not this long drawn out thing. The one thing I tell people, and I told all three of my daughters this when I dropped them off, if someone asks for your book bag, give it to them. Just give it to them. I don't care what's in it. It's not worth it. Just give it to them. Throw it at the ground to them, right? Don't hand it to them. Throw it at the ground. If they want the bag, what are they going to do? They're going to grab the bag. If they don't grab the bag, what does that tell you? This isn't someone just trying to do things. Luckily, we have those are very rare. Most of the time, they want your book bag, they want your purse, their wallet, the keys to your car. That's what they want. Just give it to them and let them go. Hit a blue light, get to someone to call, get help. We'll get help there quickly. Our officers, even in the off-campus neighborhoods, the response time's about 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, I can almost guarantee we'll be there quicker than the local police agency, right? And we will help. We'll make sure you get that police work done with that. The other thing that we do right away, because working here, is we'll get a hold of student affairs, res life pretty quickly, right? Because you're going to need other resources. One, we want to make sure you get some help mentally if you need it, that you get in touch with a counselor, because they're really traumatic events. If you've never been the victim of a crime, it is hard to really describe what that does to you. But we also want to make sure that your professors know what's going on in case your books were stolen or your laptop. So we'll kind of work through that together too, but they do happen. Be alert, keep your eyes out. If you're in a car, don't park and wait inside your car and check your text messages. There's some simple things to do, but it still happens. You do everything right and it can still happen. Just give them what they want.
Yeah, there's a pretty strict no weapons policy on campus, and if your students living in a residence hall, pepper spray would not be allowed in the residence hall.
We don't go checking students if they have pepper spray, right? We're just not doing it. But so if it never gets used, we don't know about it. I'm trying to, we want people to have the tools that they need to protect themselves. And living off campus, it's a little different. If it's attached to a key ring and we never see it and it doesn't get used. But again, it's a little stricter on campus in residence halls. I think I saw another hand. Yes. Question is, are buildings locked? So you have to have an ID card. So all residence halls are locked, period. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's generally in some of them, 2 entrance points that students can swipe to go in. And we use our card access system and our CCTV coverage or closed circuit television to make sure that we monitor those areas. Academic buildings are open on a schedule, right? Libraries open on a schedule, so it's unlocked. You can go in. We allow visitors into our library. They have to register, so they have an ID card. But generally about 6 o'clock, campus locks down and people have to have a card access to enter those buildings. And people, community members are only allowed to enter the buildings that they're associated with, right? So where they have classes or where their degree program is. But during the day, Monday through Friday, most buildings are generally open except residence halls.
Absolutely. You could think of them as a panic light, and they're off campus also. Yes. If you hit them, it's going to the police department. There's gonna be a police dispatcher talking to that person.
Yes, and we handle it like a 911 call.
If nobody's there, we send the cops immediately to make sure no one's around a lot, like need of assistance.
So pepper spray is considered a weapon and not allowed into any of our residence halls. Okay. If someone lives off campus and they have it on their key ring or it's we don't go search. We're not looking for it, right? If it's used inappropriately, we will have to get involved with it. But if it's never used, we don't know about it. Yes. Yes. The policy is no weapons on campus. Pepper spray kind of is a gray area. It's specifically forbidden in residence halls, right? But if it's on your keychain, book bag, and there's no issues with it. Last question, and we're out of time. And then Jeff and I will stay down here. We'll be able to answer any questions you have. Yes, ma'am.
I'll Google it.
Yeah, we do see those every so the personal alarms, right? You pull it out and it's pretty annoying. It is. Somebody put one in my desk one day and it took me a while to find it. Then I didn't have the pin to shut it off. So, well, great. Well, we really appreciate you coming. Welcome to WashU. We're excited that you're here. Please don't hesitate to get a hold of the police department, and that's parents as well. We're more than happy to, if you don't know who to get a hold of, to connect you with the person you need to get a hold of. Jeff and I are down here. If you have any other questions or something, please come down. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. That same lady.